Good evening and welcome to our April 10th Board of Selectmen meeting. I ask you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will start our meeting with the reading of the agenda. We'll first go over our March 27th meeting minutes. We'll then move on to community relations, announcements, and open forums. We'll then move to appointments and resignations, under which we have 3 items. Number 1 is an appointment to the Economic Development Commission. Number 2 is an appointment for the Library Charitable Trust Fund. And number 3 is a resignation for the EDC member and EDC alternative member. We have 2 scheduled appointments tonight. We have a 6:45 appointment for the poll hearing on Partridge Hill Road, which actually will be held tonight, so it will not be this evening. And then a 7 o'clock appointment with Bob Wood for the Donate Life flag raising. Under new business, we have 1 item, and that is the ALICE training for town hall employees. We have 1 item under old business, and that's the annual town meeting, which is a continued business. We'll then move on to committee reports, board of selectmen policy reviews, the student select persons report, then the town administrator's report, and finally any other business that was unknown at the time of posting. And our next regular meeting will be held on April 24th. And then we'll go into executive session and exit executive session solely for the purpose of adjournment. And what are the board's wishes with our March 27th meeting minutes?
Through the chair,
Ms. Noble.
make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Thank you. And now we'll move to the announcements.
Oh.
The last day to register to vote is Friday, April 13th. The town clerk's office will be open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And the town election will be held on Saturday, May 5th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The town hall will be closed on Monday, April 16th, in observance of Patriots' Day. And all boards, committees, departments, and commissions meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 17th at 6:30 in the Senior Center. There will be a Charlton Candidates Night, Wednesday, April 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the Charlton Library in Dexter Hall. Charlton Earth Fest will be held on Saturday, April 28th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it will be held on the Charlton Town Common. The Bay Path Educational Foundation Benefit 12th Annual Golf Tournament will be held on May 12th, starting at 1 p.m. at the Heritage Country Club. Please register by April 27th. For more information, please visit baypath.net. Once again, town election will be held Saturday, May 5th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Heritage School, and the annual town meeting will be held Monday, May 21st, starting at 7 p.m. at the Charlton Middle School. And finally, a message from the Water Sewer Department. Beginning Sunday, April 15th, between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m., and for the next 6 to 8 weeks, our hydrants are going to be flushed. Please check your water before washing your clothes for discoloration. And one more announcement. There will be a Charlton Rabies and Microchipping Clinic held Saturday, April 7th, starting from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Charlton Municipal Animal Shelter at 15 Old Town Road in Charlton. And this will be sponsored by the Friends of the Charlton Animal Shelter. Rabies vaccinations weigh $12 each. Distemper vaccinations, $12, and microchips, $20. No checks or credit cards are accepted. Cats must be in carriers, dogs must be on leashes. State law requires that all dogs and cats over 6 months of age have a valid rabies vaccination. Please bring previous rabies certifications to determine if you are eligible for a 3-year rabies vaccination. For questions, please contact the Charlton Animal Control at 508-248-2266. Are there any other announcements?
To the chair.
Ms. Grondowski.
On May 4th, Shepherd Hill will be hosting the annual district-wide art show from 5 to 8 p.m. You have a flyer for it, and art will be displayed from each of the schools ages K through 12.
Thank you.
Yep.
Are there any other announcements? Is there anyone here for open forum? Seeing none, we'll move on to appointments and resignations, of which our first item is an appointment for the EDC. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. As directed by the board, I worked with the EDC chairman and have set up 3 EDC meetings for April 9th, May 14th, and June 11th. Yesterday was our first meeting. While setting up the meetings, Michael Jacobs informed me that he withdrew from the EDC last year. The opening has been running on the town's cable channel. With that said, I attended the Southern Worcester County SEDS Strategy Committee meeting on April 3rd, where I met a Charlton resident, John Peculius, and discussed economic growth, in particular growth in Charlton. I informed him there was an open seat on the EDC, and he was very interested in helping, and has sent an email in requesting to be appointed to the EDC, filling the seat vacated by Mr. Jacobs. I also, when we met with EDC yesterday, they were excited and approved him to be appointed. So I would recommend that the board make the appointment as well as the EDC chairman.
Thank you.
And-
First, Ms. Graver, do we need to accept the resignation of Mr. Jacobs?
Do we have that?
No.
It is here, it's just in an opposite order. If you would like to, you could do that now.
I would move that we accept the resignation.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and second. Discussion. Looking at the third item, it
It's
has
not him.
Mr. Kerr and Mr. Boria as resigning. Spoilers. But any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion passes. And now I would entertain a motion for the appointment of Mr. Perkulis.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Thank you. And I would obviously like to send a letter of thanks for Mr. Jacobs' time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will now move on to our second item under appointments and resignations. That's the appointment to the Library Charitable Trust Fund. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. Attached is a request from Sue Malinsky seeking to be reappointed to the Charlton Public Library Charitable Trust for another 3-year term. Her terms expired December 31st, 2017. Just for information purposes, the Charlton Library Charitable Trust is a committee of 5 members appointed for 3-year terms beginning on January 1st and ending December 31st. As follows, 3 are appointed by the Charlton Public Library trustees, 1 by the Friends of the Charlton Public Library, and 1 by the Selectmen. I would recommend the board make the reappointment of Sue Malinsky to the Charlton Public Library Charitable Trust with an expiration date of December 31st, 2020.
Thank you, Ms. Craver. What are the wishes of the
Did I
board?
say her name?
You did right. You did well.
Okay.
So moved. I was waiting. I was smirking. I go, oh, what you gonna do with this one?
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much. And finally, the item number 3, resignation from the EDC for a member and alternate member. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. Attached are letters of resignation from Rich Kayer as an EDC member and Peter Boyer as the alternate for the EDC. Mr. Kayer has resigned due to the possibly needing to recuse himself or limit himself during future discussions regarding the village district. And Mr. Boyer has resigned due to his position as the Charlton Water Sewer Superintendent. The board should accept the resignations, and we have posted the openings on cable and the town's website.
Thank you. What are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we accept the resignations and send letters thanking them for their service to the town.
Thank you.
Very good. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? 2 very powerful,
Yeah, those are tough losses.
knowledgeable.
Those are tough.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully
both
Mr.
tough
Carey does
losses.
come back after the
Issues done.
Yeah, the issues after the conflict is over. But thank you for advertising it, and that's a very important committee. And I encourage if you have any experience, that please let us know.
Mhm. And the committee, when they met yesterday, was very excited about some of the things that we could be starting to do now while we're waiting for a planner to get in and get his or her feet underneath them. So I think that they're gonna get re-energized.
Well,
Yeah.
I really
That's
appreciate you bringing that committee back together and holding a
Mhm.
meeting yesterday and planning the next 2 meetings out. It helps to give them focus again and re-energize them.
Well,
Absolutely.
thank you. And The interim planner did come and gave a presentation on all of the things that are in front of the planning board, which was very good, as well as Mr. Boyer came and gave a presentation on the water and where it's going, so that the EDC really got a good sense of those parcels that are ready to go and that we can be publicizing now.
Very good.
Wonderful, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you very much. With the board's indulgence, since we have no 6:45 and a 7 o'clock is scheduled for 7, would the board mind taking that early, or like move on?
They're here.
If everyone's
Yeah,
here, yeah.
it's fine.
Mr. Wood, would you mind taking about 50 minutes early? And come on up. So we'll be taking our 7 o'clock scheduled appointment early for the Donate Life flag raising. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir.
It is page 32.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I was contacted by Bob Wood, who asked for time on the board's agenda to discuss Donate Life flag raising. He is seeking permission to raise a Donate Life flag outside of any of the municipal buildings in town to raise recognition and the importance of organ donations. If you consider this request, I recommend that you vote a beginning and an end, and that Mr. Wood be responsible for adding and removing the flags. He's here to talk to you about the program. So,
Thank you, Ms. Craver. Welcome. Mr. Wood, please feel free to.
All right, well, thank you very much, councilwomen, councilmen, town administrator. I'm here with friends of mine, Robin Leftelli and Jen Burns. Robin is a 7-year kidney transplant patient, and Jen Burns is the mother of a 15-year-old girl who's about half a year, 7 months out of a kidney transplant herself. I'm a year and a half out of a liver transplant. This April, it marks the 15th annual Donate Life Month, commemorating those who have been saved or healed by donations of organs, tissues, bone marrow, tendons, ligaments, to name a few. We are here tonight to ask the town if we can raise a Donate Life flag at this or any other municipal building to help with our donation awareness. Donate Life is a public education project sponsored by organizations in New England and throughout the country. 90% of the people in the country think that organ donation is a good idea, yet only 54 are actually signed up. And out of that 54%, only 2 to 3% are really used of all the donated organs. Our goal is to raise awareness anywhere and everywhere, and it is easily accomplished by checking the box at the right time when you re-up your license, or simply going to registerme.org. Robin, Kaylee, Jen's daughter, and I were fortunate enough to have been a match for what they had in the organ bank for us. What I have found out is you're never going to know that you need an organ transplant until you do. Let's expand this in 2 and 3%, help more people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. And his request tonight is for us to vote on, is to proclaim April 2018 to also be Donate Life Month. So is his request for this proclamation and also for the raising of the flag. And I'll entertain wishes from the board.
Through the chair.
Ms. Noble.
I make a motion that we do declare April 2018 as New England Organ Donor Month, and that we also accept the Donate Life flag to be raised and to be taken down in a specific manner by Mr. Wood here in the town of Charlton, and thank you very much for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Ms.
much.
Noble, do you have specific dates for that?
I would say that it should go up,
30
Pardon?
days.
30 days?
Well, we've done anywhere from 30 to 90 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the blue one.
Was 30 days.
That was 30 days?
30 days.
And since it's April, so I would recommend maybe starting today and then going
Until May 10th?
May 10th.
Sure.
Okay.
That's great. Is there a way to do other police station, fire station? Do I have to talk to you, or do I have to talk to them?
If you approve it tonight, I'd be
Schools?
glad to let the buildings know that you've approved this, and
Yeah.
he'll be so you'll contact I'll give you all the contact information.
Yeah, if we just
Terrific.
do the
Thank you
motion
very
as
much.
buildings
Okay.
plural, then.
Buildings?
Yes,
Okay.
for all, that we would approve the Donate Life flag for all municipal buildings for 30 days, starting April 10th and going until May 10th.
Okay, terrific. Thank you
Yep.
so much.
We have a
Thank
motion.
you.
Do we have a second? Mr. Swenson, do we have a second?
No, I'm just thinking for a second.
Okay.
I'm not ignoring it, no. I would just like to offer, I second,
Thank you.
but I have a little bit of discussion.
Discussion, please.
I'm wondering if we should push back the date a few days to give them some time to organize and get the flags up. Or today's the 10th.
Why don't we say, authorize it from the 10th to the, May 20th?
May 20th? I would amend.
Okay.
Yeah,
My motion
okay.
to go
Then I'll
until-
amend my second and, yeah.
Okay, that'll give you time to get all the flags up and keep them up for a full 30 days.
Okay, so I can put them up anywhere, I gotta talk to the people,
Yeah, I would
You
ask
have
you.
the police station?
I
like you
would
said?
do so, yes.
Okay, and then whatever day I get it up there, they can do it, 30 days.
You'll have to work with the department heads who are in charge of the buildings.
Understood.
The Board of Selectmen is giving them permission to do it, and yes.
Terrific, can we do this every year for, like, just say April, April is the month that's been designated with our business as,
So what I would recommend is probably come back in March, just so we can vote on it, and so
Right.
that we can have, one of our meetings in March, vote for April to be Donate Life Month.
okay, same thing we're doing right here, but
Yeah.
just a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and also it gives a platform to talk about the program, give a little more exposure, and to, read the proclamation.
Yes, I'll do that, I'll bring in more literature on them, and you stole my thunder, you said everything that almost I had to say. Thank you very much, you said it much better than I would. All right, we done then?
Mr. Swenson,
No, we have to take our vote.
is there any more discussion on the motion?
Nope.
Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes, and I will be happy to read the proclamation. Whereas there are more than 115,000 Americans with more than 5,000 in New England who are currently waiting for a life-saving organ transplant, and whereas there are over 1 million life-enhancing tissue transplants each year that are made possible by the generous donations of corneas, bone, skin, or other tissues, and whereas we can all help to save someone's life and benefit up to 50 recipients by signing up to become an organ and tissue donor by enrolling in the Massachusetts Donor Registry when we apply for or renew our driver's licenses, or by registering online at donatelifema.org. And whereas Massachusetts is a leader in donor designation rates and is dedicated to making it fast and easy to sign up to save a life through our registry of motor vehicles, and whereas this observance pays tribute to organ and tissue donors and their families whose decisions to donate life enables others to receive life-saving organs and tissues for transplant. Now, therefore, the town of Charlton does hereby proclaim April 2018 to be Donate Life Month.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on that.
Did you all want to see this flag?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yes. Are you an organ
Was there
donor?
anyone who
Yes,
wanted a
yes.
picture
So that would mean
taken
that
with?
all three of us
Yes.
up here on the Board of
Uh,
Selectmen are all organ donors.
I believe that we,
100%.
100%.
100% on the board are
100%
Organ
of the
donors.
board
organ donors, all of us.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We would love a picture with the flag.
We thank you.
Do you mind if we get a picture with the flag?
Yes, please. All of, any one of you that want to join in. Let me get cameras and get a spare person to take a picture.
Doesn't mean you get to sit up on the stage.
It's easy. You save, 1 to 6 lives.
I figure. When I'm done with my body, someone else can make use of it, they're welcome to.
Well, no, personally, thank all of you.
Thanks for bringing it right now.
From somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I was.
She's not telling.
Get on in here.
I didn't know anything until I needed them.
Exactly.
I learned pretty quick.
Katie, I'm proud of you.
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
How's the flag look?
Looks wonderful.
Okay.
It's great news, that's why.
I got 2 on here, and I'll get a couple on
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Now notice how nice the flag looks now, right?
No, I want
It
to
doesn't
fly
after,
it.
well, I flew it through.
I'm sorry.
Once again, I want to thank Mr. Wood and the rest of the organization for bringing us to our
Wait a minute.
attention.
Now, you had blocked.
Oh,
I want to thank Mr. Wood again for bringing us to our attention of the board, and for every donor out there, making a difference, saving lives. So thank you. Also, with permission from the board, I asked that we would include the link on our website to the for more information. and that would be the donatelifema.org.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, and with that, we'll move on to new business. And our only item is the ALICE training for town hall employees. Ms. Graver?
Yes, sir. As you know, we have trained staff to teach ALICE, which is, stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Encounter, and Evacuate for our employees. This is a strategic process as to if there was an active shooter in the building, what would we do? We are respectfully requesting that the Board of Selectmen authorize me to close the town hall on Wednesday, June 6th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for training purposes. We will be sure to give the public advance notice of the closing while also taking into account the peak walk-in times. The first half of the training will be done in a classroom setting. The second half would require live role playing, where we would need to lock the doors to citizens so as to not scare them should they come through the building. We will place signs on the doors stating what is taking place so they are aware that there is no emergency. The trainers are Gary Mason, Mike McGrath, Carl Ekman, and Mary Devlin. The training will be a refresher for some employees, but with many new hires, it is a great tool for them to learn. The board is also invited to attend. What is the board's wishes?
Thank you, Ms. Graver. And what are the wishes of the board?
Through the chair,
Ms. Noble?
do we need to make a motion on this?
Yes, so motion
Okay.
to authorize Ms. Graver to close the town hall
I
on
would-
Wednesday, June 6th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for training purposes.
Then I make said motion that we close the town hall on June 6th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for training purposes for the ALICE program.
Second.
Thank you. A motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
It's a very valuable program. Thank you very much. It helps the employees know what to do in case the unthinkable happens.
Right.
Yes, and I am aware that they do the same training in our public schools as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any more discussions on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you very much. Now it's time for old business. And our only item is the annual town meeting. Ms. Graver?
Yes, sir. Attached is the annual town meeting warrant for your review. The warrant must be posted by April 27th, so I would ask the board to give any final direction tonight, as you will be asked to approve the exact language at your next meeting. Several changes have taken place since your last meeting, which includes: the Personnel Board did not wish to sponsor nor support the article for changes in stipends. Thus, we are recommending that the board convene a stipend advisory committee to make recommendations to the next annual town meeting. If you wish, we can post this week for members. Perhaps a committee of 7 consisting of 2 current board commission members, 2 citizens at large, a member of the, or appointed by the Personnel Board, and the Human Resource Director.
Thank you. And,
Would you like to take any action on that before I continue?
Ms.
Just,
Noble?
is it 2 citizens at large or 3 citizens at large for the viewers who are watching?
I think it's 2,
Because it says here,
citizens.
committee members would be 3 citizens at large.
did I say 2?
Yes.
I'm sorry, my mouth was going wrong. Yes, it
Okay.
is 3.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that, sorry.
Thank you.
And what are the wishes of the board of convening this committee as recommended?
There was something else here,
I-
so take a look at the numbers, because
I
I
would
think I
move, but the
added
numbers
some.
aren't right.
Yeah, I had added some and taken some out,
2,
so
5,
Two.
6,
these are
7?
some of the choices that you could do. 2 board, I think I also had Board of Selectmen in there if you wanted to be. We could not do Finance Committee members because they're not authorized to be on committees, so it would be of 7. So what I probably had on was a Selectman and a Finance Committee for 7, so
Right.
this is 5.
No,
Would
no,
the two current board committee commission members include the Board of Selectmen?
it could-
No, well, that wasn't my thinking, but
Right.
if you wanted to.
I mean, it could, because right now there's number 7, so it's 2 current board members, 3 citizens at large is 5, 1 member.
Well, let's
of the
add
personnel
one from,
board.
I would say
I
add
would-
one from the Board of Selectmen.
Well,
And
to
the
make
Human
7, you
Resource
could do 2 appointees by the Board of Selectmen.
But there is 7,
There were 7. It
there's
adds up to
6.
7.
There's 6
Reading
listed here.
this.
We have 3, 2, and 1.
And the human
No.
resource director.
Thank you. Okay, my numbers do
So
match.
yeah, it's 7. It adds up to 7.
Oh,
This is
okay,
what happens
okay.
when I come in on a Saturday to get some of this done.
I understand.
Okay, no, the numbers are right, I'm sorry. I misread that last sentence.
Trust
We
your
forgot
numbers,
we
guy.
counted as one. So it's correct.
So, what is the board's wishes concerning the recommended?
Mr. Chair, I would move that we appoint a stipend advisory committee to make recommendations back to the board for the next annual town meeting. The board to be consisting of 7 members, 2 current board commission members, 3 citizens at large, 1 member appointed by the Personnel Board, as well as the Human Resource Director.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes.
Okay, so we will post that and have them send their letters of interest to our office,
Mhm.
and we will bring them to you for appointment. Next, Selectman Singer had brought forward the removal of the police chief and lieutenant from civil service. He is asked to defer the article to a time uncertain. It has been removed. And I believe the board was okay with that. Also removed was the board's name change, as it appears that the name of the Board of Selectmen would still need to be used on all official documents, so to avoid confusion, it's been abandoned at this time.
Mhm.
Okay.
At your direction, on March 27th, I have worked with Karen Speedwack and Lori Degnan, along with Town Council, to create an article sponsored by the Board of Selectmen for a moratorium on solar. Please review and let me know if you wish any changes. The language presented tonight is acceptable to Karen, Lori, and Town Council. Kurt Meskis and Bill Scanlon also contributed to its development. Thus, your article has been placed just before the petition, and if it passes, I expect that the petition would be passed over.
Thank you.
La-
And do you want us to vote on that now to accept those changes?
No, once I finish this piece, we can go through the warrant if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Sounds
I have
good.
it here, yes. And lastly, now that the override election is over, you will have a draft budget to review at your next meeting. I have been meeting with the finance director, who has just gotten back, and we are moving ahead.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So if you want to scroll all the way down.
Yeah.
Page 51.
51, thank
Page
you.
51.
Article 27.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't.
I think we had a chance to read it before this
I was
evening.
just thinking to people at home.
It's pretty lengthy.
It is.
And of course, there will be on the website the final warrant, so people have plenty of time to do research.
It will be posted April 22nd.
Does anyone have any comments on that? Should we vote on the changes?
I would move to approve, because this is a new article.
Second.
Okay, motion second to approve, not to approve the motion, but to approve the language for Article 27.
To approve the language of the article.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the motion is second. Any discussion? Thank you for working on it, and I want to thank everyone else for bringing this to our attention. And over the past 2 weeks, really scrambling to get this.
Got people
that.
talking,
Got
I
people
can tell you that
talking.
much.
Yes, yes, we did.
Motion is second. No more discussion. We will move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Is there anything else for the town meeting warrant, Ms. Craver?
No, sir.
All right.
As
Any
long
other-
as you're okay with all of the deletions, additions, and changes.
Mm-hmm.
I expect to bring this exactly back unless there is something that happens unforeseen,
Mhm.
just as the way it is here now.
Sounds good.
Will we have a budget at the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
And that'll obviously be draft.
And not only will you have a budget, I will be starting to put your motions together also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion on the annual town meeting? All right, we'll move on to committee reports. Does anyone have any committee reports?
The Medical Marijuana Advisory Committee
Mhm.
had a public hearing last week, and it was fairly well attended. We were there to discuss the change from a medical marijuana facility to also include adult use marijuana. So we weren't there to debate the pros and cons, but merely to have a public hearing on the information that was presented before us. It went about 1 hour. There was some very animated discussion. People were very engaged. The next stage will be the planning and zoning meeting on the 25th of this month. That's Wednesday, April 25th.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to the student select persons report. Ms. Grondowski?
Just a couple things. Today was the student council blood drive, which was a lot of kids signed up to do it. Tonight at CMS is the combined middle and high school band concert, which will be jazz-centered. And tomorrow, April 11th, is the annual district show choir show. The tickets are sold out, but they will be live streaming, and the link will be posted on the Shepherd Hill Music Parents Facebook page. Tomorrow also ends our school's cell phone drive, and this Friday marks the beginning of break, where the foreign language students will be traveling to England, Ireland, and France. 128 students will be attending, and 18 chaperones, me included.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Congratulations.
That's exciting, huh?
Yep.
Any questions for our student select person? Can you take us with you?
Can we be a chaperone?
I
Yeah,
don't
can we be a
know.
chaperone?
I
Yeah.
don't think they ever extended to the board of selectmen.
That's not
You
fair.
should back some wine, but I don't
They
think
have
you're old enough for
very
that.
strict guidelines on how big my suitcase can be, so I don't know if Joe can fit in there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Gronowski. And I'll move on to the town administrator's report. Ms. Craver, which
Yes.
foreign country are you going to?
I am
Dudley.
staying in the good old USA. I've been known to say, never mind. Let's go to zoning violation complaint.
Ooh.
At the board's last meeting, Russ Jennings came forward with a complaint regarding no response to a zoning violation that was reported. I was asked to work with the zoning enforcement officer and Mr. Jennings. The issue has been addressed, and Mr. Jennings doesn't feel a need to come back before the board.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Meskis, for working on that.
Congressman Richard Neal attended an informal discussion regarding Charlton's water needs. The meeting was set up by Water Sewer Commissioner Jen Vaughn. The water superintendent will be putting together information for the congressman and asking for assistance in developing our own water source. It was a very productive meeting and well-attended, and just to add on, I did meet with the Water Sewer Commissioner today, superintendent today, and we went through some of the material, so it is being compiled now. And I don't, did you attend that? Someone else, we did have a
I was here.
selectman.
I was here.
Did you wanna say anything about that?
It was, I thought it was good. I thought it was very productive. I think the biggest thing that we could gain out of it would be possibly be some help or direction as we pursue the water project. You know, I give Congressman Neal credit getting out into the communities and hearing what's going on. So I thought it felt like it was productive. Obviously, time will tell, but.
Okay.
Thank you.
Risk management, I attended a seminar on risk management, which was very helpful in continuing to identify potential loss that can cost Charlton lots of money in fines, lost work time, legal fees of employees, and injury as such. And lastly, municipal climate vulnerability workshop. Last Saturday, we held a municipal climate vulnerability workshop focusing on planning for resiliency in the face of changes in climate such as floods, extreme weather, such as cold snaps, or prolonged long heat, tornadoes, hurricanes, snow and ice storms. There were about 20 people there and a good cross-section of representatives, including residents, local businesses, and department heads. I'd like to thank Dad's Diner for donating the breakfast and lunch. They did a phenomenal job. We took the leftovers to the police and fire stations afterwards, and they were most appreciative. Regarding the climate change, the next step is a report of our findings. And I will, just to give a note, I was actually surprised because as I stood up and started to talk about the thing, why we needed to do this, I said, you know, in the last 10 years, we've had a ice storm, a hurricane, or a tornado, snow and ice, extreme heats where we've had to open a cooling station for our seniors, power outages where we've had to, because of trees falling and storms. So we are not immune, and we've had flooding, and we've had drought.
Yes.
So all of that, actually, I would like to say in the last maybe 5 to 6 years, we've probably seen most of that. So it's not, there was no question about whether or not there was a climate change. It was, you know, we do need to prepare for these things. And when I got home from that workshop on Saturday night, turned on the TV, and they had all the floods and all the damage that had happened in the Midwest due to that storm, and watched roads, you know, completely gone.
Oh, yeah.
And we do need to prepare for that, and I really want to give a hats off to the department heads who came to that. Jerry Foskett was there, our highway superintendent was there, Board of Health. You know, we had a good cross-section of people taking a look at what would we do if it hit here. And we believe that if we're prepared, we'll be much better off. So, the planning. And we did receive, as you know, a $10,000 grant to do
Yep.
that, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any questions for the town administrator? Thank you, Ms. Graver. Is there any other business that was unknown at the time of posting? All right, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Swenson,
I would move that we go into executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Number 1, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, and mental health rather than the professional competence of an individual, or discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. Involuntary disability. Number 2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel for the personnel contract. Number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation for Casella, Hickman, 508, Gordon, Lemansky, and number 6, to conduct the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate, water negotiations if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect or on the negotiating position of the public body, and to return to open session for any other business.
thank you.
Second.
A motion is second, and the chair does declare that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on a negotiation position of the public body. And Ms. Craver, I don't think that we will be going back to open session for any other
No,
business
sir.
besides adjournment. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go by roll call vote. Ms. Noble?
Aye.
Mr. Swenson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We're now in executive session at 7:14. Our next regular selectmen's meeting will be April 24th.
Back into it.
Have a great night.